Zahara is being remembered as a singer who revolutionized the music industry with a story to tell and much more to achieve. Now, these were just some of the words in terms of tribute to Bulelwa Zahara Mkutu Ghana at her memorial service at the Rhema Bible Church in Randburg. The Loliwe hitmaker and multi-platinum album and award achiever died on Monday evening following liver complications. Zahara's journey was much publicized, from starting out as a street performer in her hometown in the Eastern Cape to signing with TS Records and ultimately signing with Warner Music Africa. All this while facing various challenges. We speak now to Warner Music Africa Managing Director Temi Adeniji about Zahara's time at the label. Temi, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, tributes were streaming in as the nation remembered Zahara, a true music icon. You worked with her. She moved to your recording label, which became her second home. Talk to us about your interactions with Zahara and the kind of artist she was.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Zahara was actually signed before my time, but I had the opportunity to meet her on a trip here in 2019. At that time, we had a few executives from the U.S. and U.K. in town, and we had gathered some of our artists to give small, intimate performances. And she delivered, an amazing performance for everybody who was in town, and that was sort of our first introduction from the U.S. and U.K. To her music and to her. In that interaction, one of the things that really stuck out for me was another artist was having trouble tuning his guitar, and she grabbed the guitar, and without any tuner or anything, she tuned it within 10 seconds. And I think at that moment, I really realized just how innate music was for her. It was something that she was just born to do. It came so naturally to her. And it's really incredible to sort of see somebody living in what, their true calling. It's a blessing. And obviously she was taken from the world far too early. But I think one thing we can all kind of, accept is that, she was doing what she was really born to do and what she really loved to do for all her time on this planet. And that's something that, all of us are striving to do. And it means, the world, it's more valuable than anything. So yeah. I think what I can say is that she was just a really remarkable talent.
What about her artistry and working spirit? I mean, what stood out on that front as she interacted with her work and really just was the amazing talent that we knew?
I think the last performance I saw of hers was her opening for Nkabi Zezwe at Carnival City in August. And I actually wanted to sort of pull that performance because she was traveling and it was just cutting it really close, but she was really adamant and she really wanted to do it. She got off a plane at 2 p.m., didn't rehearse, nothing. By 7 p.m. was ready to get on stage, and it was as though she had transformed into another person. I mean, she was exhausted, literally no sleep, tired, hungry. And in that moment, she just switched. And I think that's just a small anecdote of, who she really was as a performer. It was something that, again, came from within. And anytime she had the opportunity to perform, it was something that was really an opportunity for her to share her vulnerability with her fans, with whoever was, in the audience and had the privilege of being in that space. So I guess for me, it's just that, she took her work really seriously. She was extremely talented, but also worked really, really hard. And I think that's what, we will remember her for, and what the sort of message that we want to sort of spread across is just that she really did give everything in every performance and in every piece of work and her music and everything that sort of lives on with her. It really resonates with who she was and how important music was for her.
In sharing her vulnerabilities, we always got a sense of how Zahara was feeling in her storytelling, whether it was on stage or a one-on-one interview, often becoming very emotional about her work and in expressing herself. And she herself, in one interview, I remember, described herself as wanting to be remembered as the girl next door? Do you think that perhaps her vulnerability and how she wanted to be remembered made her relatable?
Absolutely. I mean, I think just the authenticity and, you know, she'd been through a lot in her life, and I think music for her was a place of healing, and that was really the gift that she wanted to give everybody that interacted with her work was healing. And I think she really broke down all of the walls, and she really like bared her soul in a way that was really brave, and, you know, I think really incredible to sort of watch. And I think that is what really connected her with her fans, and that's why people really loved her, because you felt like you were really getting to see her and getting to see what she really thought or how she really felt, or there was no pretense. And I think that's really what cuts across, and that's what makes it so that's what allows her music to transcend across language, culture, you know, creed, everything. I think it's really about the fact that it felt like it was coming from inside. So
what do you think you're going to miss most about Zahara at Warner Music Africa, especially also just taking into account some of the controversy that came with her passing? A lot of people lashing out at the music fraternity, saying that not enough was done for her, and perhaps, you know, she was failed during her very difficult times. What will you remember about her, and also perhaps some of the lessons that can be drawn from her character, her work, and some of the harsh and hard lessons about the controversy that came with her passing?
I think she had a really complicated life. She dealt with a lot, and I think, you know, we at the label, we did our best to try to sort of support her growth from a music perspective. I had the opportunity to spend some time with her mom just on Wednesday this week. And I think what really, you know, struck me was just like sort of how strong her mother was being in this time. And it really helped me to understand even more the type of person that Zahara was. I think, you know, mental health is a really important sort of factor when you're an artist, because the work that artists do is so difficult, especially because of sort of what I just said about being completely vulnerable and really showing yourself and not being able to hide in a lot of ways. I think, you know, at the label, one thing that we try to incorporate is sort of mental health support where we can, and it was certainly something that, you know, we offered. And so I think, you know, from that perspective, it's really about just trying to support somebody through a journey that's really, really difficult. And I think we really tried to do that in the way that we knew how. And so, you know, it is a very tragic and a very sad time. And, you know, her talent and her music will be missed. And her work ethic is something that, you know, we will also miss.
Thank you very much. Thanks for weighing in there. Warner Music Africa Managing Director Temi Adeniji.